Perfect.
Go ahead.
So let me start with a few slides like all the others, and let me continue with the software in the end. So as you already said, Takt is in our name, so our company is called Takting. Ing is nothing else than the German word for engineering. In Germany, we write it with an I. There's the I in the beginning, so we are Takt engineers. Where we come from, this is the core team, and don't forget Janos, but he was not there when we did the picture. And what you see already in the front of on the table is our simulation game. So we are not only a software company, we are a company who is there to enable you to use Takt in your projects, and especially not only in your projects, in your whole company. So we are not consultants, just to make clear. We have a partner network with a lot of consultants, which we guide and which we help, and which do the job on site for us. But we have a simulation game. Here you see the industrial hall. We have it for interior. We have it for high-rise buildings. And we have the software, which is in the focus today. So where we come from, we have chaotic construction sites. I think all the others are also tackling that problem. Things are happening in room and time. You can use different things like a line of balance, or we have seen it before. You can use a Gantt chart to structure that thing, and you can also use Takt planning for that. What's special there? The grid is defining your construction site, and the process should and have to fit into that. So a lot of people are talking about Takt and have totally different Takt times on the construction site. That's okay if you have it on the construction site, but it's not possible to have different Takt times on one conveyor belt. This is our understanding. So the grid and the rhythm which you define for your construction site is always leading the process, and the process have to fit into the grid, not the grid to the processes. This is a different understanding. What we are really hardliners in that, because we have a lot of knowledge from other industries, and I have never seen an industry running different speeds on one conveyor belt. For sure, you can have on one construction site different conveyor belts running, but don't visualize it, please, in one conveyor belt. So we want to go to the right stage, which you see here, integrate a Takt schedule. This is how our product looks like currently at the moment. So everything which I will show you is version 2.0. This is the version which is on the market and was on the market for the last 2 years. We are currently updating the things every week, every second week. There are coming updates in the software. It's an online tool for sure. And starting from next year, there comes version 3.0, but I will tell you later in the end something about that. So what you see here is a Takt schedule with 2 different trains. They have the same speed, and that way it's a weekly Takt time. And we want to visualize and really focus on different flows inside our schedule. So you see the product flow on the horizontal line. You see the logistic flows and design flows on the vertical line, and on the diagonal line you see the trades, the flow of the different trades which are running through our construction site. So, and if you look into that thing, we are starting, if you say what's the difference, what we are doing different, what we want to do different is, we are starting from the point where scheduling ends and production planning and control, and I don't mean just control the construction site based on a schedule. I mean really production control and really production schedule in the way that you have everything under control. What is logistic, material delivery, decision-making process, planning, the connection with the BIM model, how you have your data, everything connected. This is where we are starting. So the key is not showing this visualization. The key is what is the data behind, and I will show you what that means. If you look into one work package, there's nothing else than a single colorful box here in that schedule. We call it a Takt because Takt is defined for us. It's based on a room, like location. It's based on a rhythm, which I have given, and it's based on a process. So there's a lot of things and data connected with that. Doesn't matter if it's costs, doesn't matter if it's the relation of the work package, if it's the documentary, which we can also do in our software, that we upload pictures, we do comments behind, we put a status per work package behind. We may be connected with sensor data on the construction site because you have in some tech areas some sensors, and you connect it with the weather data, online weather data. You bring in what I already said to you, the workflows. So we don't talk only about the work description behind the work package. We talk about design, we talk about logistics, we talk about quality steps, which you are defining if you really want to have control over your construction site, the defect steps, the handover steps, the material steps, and because we want to really handle data in detail. And this is only possible if you have that scalable approach. What does it mean for us? If you look into one work package, and I showed you what kind of data is circling in one package. So the work package is not stopping with the start and end date and having a colorful bar in between. This is, for me, scheduling. We are going deeper. And if you go deeper in one work package, nothing else than opening one bar and saying what is behind what I do have to do to fulfill this kind of work package, this process. There are a lot of data points behind it. Start from communication with each other, early physical communication, whatever. It starts with material flows and everything which are listed down in the slide before. We are already talking today about 50 to 500 data points. Depends how big the package is and how complex the package is. We have to go out, we have to steer it, we have to make pictures, we have to control it, whatever. So there are a lot of things to do to fulfill that single little colorful box in our schedule. And in the future, we believe that this will expand like hell. Yeah, we are talking about maybe in 3 years, maybe in 10 years, maybe in 20 years, but it will come. We are talking about robots, we are talking about artificial intelligence, and everything will use the data behind one schedule. So we are even believing that the data behind one process step or one process will expand crazy in the future. And if you look in our schedules, a normal schedule has around 1,000 to 5,000, depends on the project. Yeah, for sure, bigger projects around the world have also much more different colorful work packages and process. We are talking about in a normal schedule, which we have on our process platform, we talk around 2,000 work packages, middle-sized projects. So if you multiply that thing 50 to 500 data points with 2,000 work packages, will easily end in the millions of data points, which you have to handle on the single construction site. What we are doing today, we are looking just in a few of them based on the stomach feeling, experience of a site manager. And the good site manager is tackling the right ones. And a not so experienced site manager is coming directly from the studies. He is maybe looking in the wrong things and he doesn't see the problems. And the problems pop up in the end because quality is not matching, time is not matching, and we are running over schedule. So what we do is, or what we try to implement in our software is, we try to implement that data handling. This is how it looks like, and just give me a second to give you a live update. So for sure, we are talking about Digital World, an online tool, which we have developed over the last 5 years. What you're seeing here, there's a colorful box. There's a lot of data behind, or there's a lot of process behind. And for sure, you can also do, because client have asked for that, you can also do a normal schedule. See here, you can put bars behind. We highly recommend not to do that, because it's crazy difficult to match long bars with short bars and standardized bars. You will mess it up because you compare apples with bananas. Yeah? So we recommend go for a takt schedule, use it as a hardliner. You will have much more benefit in the future. So what you see here is the schedule. You see the different flows. If I open one work package, you see also what's behind there. So you see, and now we come to the key of our software, there's a little bit data behind. So you see, for example, manpower, which I have planned. I haven't recorded what's on site. You see here, and this is a really easy example, there's just like one work step behind every work package. So you see the work package, the work steps. You see what's necessary to do control. You see what's necessary to do design, and what's necessary to do logistics, and a few more, yeah, book cranes, whatever, machines on that, handle the material on that. And we work with different statuses here. If you see, we have ready means you can start with that. Subcontractors, I have defined it as a GC. The planning is ready, whatever is ready, location is free, go into. You have started means everything is ready. You have already people on site. Maybe the subcontractors even putting that status inside. The subcontractors maybe even putting that status inside of done. So we have a right and rule system in the background, and it's easy to define it, which kind of rights you give to which kind of rule or role. So it's done means I'm finished as a subcontractor. So please, site manager, come out, give me a check for that. And for sure, if you have a problem, you can even put a problem behind and say, look, material not delivered. So you can put a roadblock behind. And what I would do, or most of the clients are doing, they are looking on their daily base in the schedule, have a look what's the current situation of the project. So currently we are in that week, focusing on the roadblocks, handling them, putting them away from the system in the way that they say, like material. Just a simple thing. I would write it in practice a little bit more in detail. So things are getting back to the original status, and that means it was already checked. So you have a full overview. For sure, you can filter it for manpower. You can filter it for effort. You can filter it for logistics step, pictures you have uploaded, everything which is behind. And for sure, you can also work with detailed milestones. Let me give you a real life example. This is one project from Saudi Arabia. So we are also acting and having client worldwide. So this one from Saudi Arabia, you see here clearly the planned manpower which is behind. And you see we have different conveyor belts running on the construction side. But we try to give them all the same speed to combine the data. You can easily filter it, what kind of effort is behind, how many minutes and hours are behind. So here we're talking about not a really simple project. And if you go more detailed in the things which we are doing, we also have, and let me jump back to my previous. So we have different kind of views on that schedule. Work package I showed you already. You can put all the data. So we are coming from scalability. Scalability means nothing else than scale it within your project. Define one data set, one sequence, and scale it over your project. Define one data sequence in your project and scale it over your company. So what is this? It's nothing else than a screenshot from the standard library which we have in the background. So this is nothing else than the standards of our sequences. There's nothing else than a standard of our different work package we have built. And what you see here is the takt schedule, which I will show you, visualized in different step cards or cards. For example, you see here the work package just visualized differently. If you open one work package, you see similar data or the same data than I have showed you in the schedule before. And for sure, there are also different ways of integrating models. So we have a full integration of BIM, RFC data. So here's just one live example. What you see on the left side is our the structure of the product, so the structure of the model. On the right side, you see the structure of our process, so the areas. And what we are doing, we are just matching that. And based on the matching, you can do as an automatical output. For sure, it's easy and nice to see 4D simulation, but it doesn't give so much value in my opinion. The real value comes therefore that we have all the data inside our takt schedule. So if I open one work package, you see exactly how many square meters, how many cubic meters, how many tons, whatever I have to do in that stage. You can combine it with your crane capacity and see, look, is the crane even possible to lift that thing? Is it possible, if you combine it with your material data, you can do CO2 calculation. So if you really have the product, so that nothing else than the BIM model under control, if you have the process under control and you connect this in the right way, you have the full power of your production system. And this is how we call it here. The production planning starts and the scheduling ends. Let me jump back to the software. So this is a live project. Let me show you another example. This is the 3D integration. So what I showed you is the structure of the model. Here they already modeled it in that way that they have takt areas behind, but this is not necessary. So you link that. Here you have the process structure. This is nothing else than the structure of the takt plan, which you see here, for example. You see nothing else in the takt section. This is already a live running project, so I tried to not change anything here. Second. And that's why I would like to use that model. So this is the simulation game which you have seen before. So what you can do with that simulation game is we are training takt planning and takt control based on the simulation game that we play together with 12 different subcontractors. We can train you as a team. And for sure, you can also train how you can handle the digital world behind. You can integrate it in your training. So there's nothing else than 4D simulation. You can plug it in and switch it off. And for example, this one is already linked with the schedule. So that thing is already linked with the schedule. This is a little bit of work with filtering different things together, but a good project can be done, a big project can be done in 1 to 4 hours. You can link your project easily if you're a little bit used to with your process and the product together. So if I go for a second and just show you the schedule. A little bit messed up here with this bar on top. This is the schedule behind. So you see where we are. We start with the blue beams, with the plume foundations, the green beams. And if I go back to my original model, it's exactly this control on top. No. So if I go back to my watch and if I change the view to 4D simulation, make it cumulative and start from the beginning. So there's a little bit of mistake because we haven't modeled or linked the walls in the right way, but it starts with the blue beam. Then there comes the green one, the blue one is moving to the next area and so on. And for sure the output, if you bring together your model and your product together with the process, the output is that you know exactly which kind of parts, which kind of elements on your model which will happen on which kind of takt time. And then you just have an interlink and you can use the model to visualize different things. This is for sure an easy model. Yeah. Real world is a little bit more complex. And if I go back to the takt schedule and if I open one beam, and here you see again, look, we have to install one beam. You see already in my takt schedule, because I combined it with the model, there are 2 elements. In real life, it could be 5 tons or 500 cubic meter of concrete or whatever. We have even a performance factor because we can do the calculation in the background. And you click, for example, here, you see exactly which element is linked, where is the element, so what is linked. And you can have and show and visualize the element within the model where it's really placed. Here we are talking about these 2 elements. Yeah?
2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you. You can put images behind, do the whole control, put images behind. You have a log list where you say, okay, what has happened within which project, who has created which step, who has linked which step, who has activated which thing. And yeah, this is how we do control more or less. So there's much more to see. I don't want to show you the things in detail. Yeah, everything is working based on drag and drop, like all the other softwares too, I think. So put an empty wagon behind, and for sure it's asking you here or everywhere. So it's easy to use software, especially with the version 3.0. We will make it much more easier if you don't need some buttons, if you don't want to go to the level of detailed production schedules, and you don't need the detailed production planning, and you don't need the logistics step. Just cut them off, so you don't need it to visualize. We can make it much more customizable. We can create customizable dashboards. And the real power in our software comes from the data integration. So we have a lot of cooperations with, for example, software company, with logistic companies. We bring in the data, which parts we need at which place, at what time. They do the logistics in the background within their software, putting the status behind it's delivered, and it's given back the status to our software. So the GC is using our thing and the logistic company is using their software. So we have sustainability and ESG reporting in the future. We have automatical cost control because instead of putting resources behind, you can also put costs behind. So we are talking about earned value management and earned value management control. We have an automatical payout system, so you can send out bills from our system, and so that the subcontractor doesn't have to send you bills anymore. We have milestones for sure behind. There's much more, lots more of things behind. So if you're interested in that and if you want to know more, but be careful, we are only focusing on a takt project, not the normal Gantt chart projects. And if you're focusing still on Gantt chart projects and we have a meeting, could be that I send you back and say use Excel, because Excel is much more better for that and it's for free. And honestly, I've used Excel for over 10 years and it was running, but not on that level. Thank you.
Thank you, Marco. And again, short amount of time, so all the things you listed up, I'm sure you'd be happy to show more in depth if anyone's interested.